Howdy. Let's hear from Americus Reed II, a brand professor and a piece by Big Think.
Coke is just soda, Tylenol just acetaminophen, and Levi's are just jeans. Yet consumers go out of their way to select these specific brands over others.
An economist would say, how is this possible that a rational consumer would be willing to pay more for exactly the same thing? We love to think about ourselves as rational. That's not how it works. A very famous study done by colleagues at Duke University had flashed either the Apple logo or the IBM logo to two randomized groups of participants.
The study found that after being subliminally exposed to the Apple logo, compared to when you've been exposed to the IBM logo, participants performed better on creative tasks.
And the argument is that Apple has been telling you this story over and over again, that Apple is the brand for hip, cool, fun, creative people.
This is the true power of brands. They can influence our behavior in ways that extend way beyond the point of sale. So, to what degree can the influence of brands wreak havoc on our ability to make rational spending decisions? This is Your Brain on Money. This is Americus Reed. He studies identity and marketing at the University of Pennsylvania.
When I make choices about different brands, I'm choosing to create an identity. When I put that shirt on, when I put those shoes on, those jeans, that hat, someone is going to form an impression about what I'm about. So if I'm choosing Nike over Under Armour, I'm choosing a kind of different way to express affiliation with sport. The Nike thing is about performance. The Under Armour thing is about the underdog. I have to choose which of these different conceptual pathways is most consistent with where I am in my life.
And once a consumer makes that choice, their relationship with a brand can deepen to the point where they identify with the brand like family. And once you identify with a brand, it can shape the way you behave.
And it's really interesting because they will also, if someone talks bad about that product, brand, or service, they will be the first to go out and defend. Why? Because an attack on the brand is an attack on themselves.
Fascinating. So Americus makes a few great points. The first is that consumers can be irrational. And irrational in the sense that irrational, not rational. Rational being kind of logic-based decision making. Like here's product A that costs $5, and here's product B that is, functionally, materially the same product, but it costs $20. But because there is a better brand association with product B, a consumer will pay the $20 instead of $5 for the same product. And so it's fascinating how that begins to influence our decision making, which can happen over long periods of time as brands, advertise to us and we have experiences with them over years and decades. And it becomes almost an emotional tie, as he mentioned, like family to a brand, far, far separated from a rational decision-making process of product, price, and performance. And in some cases, due to that perception of the brand, actual human performance can increase. It may almost be like a placebo, if you will, in the sense that a belief in something can lead to a stronger outcome in that something. Probably an indicator of the power of the human brain and things like that. However, in this context, very interesting that a brand association and a belief in the potential of those products can lead to better measurable results, from people choosing to be associated with or thinking about those products. And then that humans will often make choices on emotion, and as they mentioned, once someone becomes so ingrained with a brand, they're thinking more with that association that's deeply rooted rather than the logic of the actual situation. Some people may actually make choices that aren't as smart for themselves purely because they have that association to the brand rather than looking at that moment and saying, what is a better product? What is a better price? What is a better result? They're going to choose sometimes based on emotion rather than what's logic and what's real. So just some things to keep in mind as you move about in the world and interact with different marketing, even making decisions for yourself. Maybe this is a tool to start to look at and think for yourself in ways that you're more aware of what's coming in and the choices that you make.